Kovar! Kovar, are you awake yet? We're coming in.
Kovar opened her eyes and let out a large yawn. She stretched and then rolled over in her bed. From the light outside, it was already daytime and the sun was streaming in through the surface of the ocean far above. She rolled her shoulders several times and then flipped her tail off the end of the bed. Kovar was one of the Siretazi, the fabled mer-people of the Aoela people. As a mermaid, Kovar was covered in beautiful scales, hers being a vibrant shade of purple. Her long hair was also purple, and she had purple eyes, too. That's probably why she was known as Kovar the Purple, although that was not the only reason she was well known. Like many under the surface of the sea, Kovar was the daughter of the great ocean goddess Sudaiba and another Siretazi. As a demigoddess of sorts, she was a little different than most other Siretazi.
I'm awake now. Come on in!
Kovar lived in a little house on the bottom of the sea floor, and it was made from bricks and glass. Her bedroom was on the second floor, while her living area was on the first. She swam so that she was fully out of the bed, as her two best friends swam into the room. Baja was a feminine individual, whose scales were colored with various shades of bright orange, dark brown, and a cream-colored yellow. She had short brown hair and a pair of brilliant orange eyes. Gadif was a masculine person with a dull bluish grayscale hue. He had long dark blue hair and a pair of light blue eyes.
Hey, how long has the sun been up? I was up pretty late last night patrolling around the village with Menra. What's wrong? You both look troubled.
That's because we are. Chief Totoma is calling for a massive gathering of everyone from the village.
Ugh. What is that idiot going to suggest now? The last attack we launched a month ago was a huge failure, and it did nothing to stop the Nengzama village from stealing more of our territory.
The Nengzama are getting bolder. They are mounting for another raid. I just know it. The next time, they may conquer us.
He doesn't care about that. He's a bloodthirsty bastard, and he's gonna get us all killed.
Why doesn't anyone say anything? Or do something? This isn't right.
How can anyone oppose him? He's a demigod, and he's physically the strongest Siretazi around. His prowess in battle is unmatched. The problem is, there is only one of him, and way more of the Nengzama.
As a son of Sudaiba, he should be more keen to the needs of the people. My half-brother is so stupid!
I'm so scared because I know it's going to get worse.
I know. I keep wondering if today is the day I'm going to meet Isiba, the Great Spirit Mother.
Kovar drew in a deep breath and she willed her magic to flow into her vocal cords. The arcane power tickled her throat, and then she spoke.
Do not be afraid, my friends. Things will get better, because we are going to that meeting, and we're going to let our concerns be heard. The village will surely be able to listen to reason. Be calm, and trust that things will work out in our favor.
The water in front of and around Kovar hummed with a pleasant resonance. When the vibrations hit both Gadif and Baja, the tensions in their faces faded. Their shoulders fell a little more relaxed, and they both drew in deep, reassuring breaths.
Thank you so much. We needed that.
Too bad you can't say that to Chief Totoma. You could make him stop.
Firstly, my powers don't work on other children of Sudaiba. Secondly, you keep forgetting that's not how my powers work anyway. I can't control people. I can only affect their emotions. For you two, I simply took away your fear, so you could relax and think clearly. I meant what I said. Let's go to the gathering and try to persuade people to choose another way.
Do you really think it can be done?
We're family, after all. I bet if I talk to him alone, I can make him see the foolishness in his plans. I have to try.
Kovar swam out of the room with her two friends behind her. They moved through a hole in the second floor that led to the first floor. Then they swam out of her small house. She lived in a small neighborhood in one of the many sub-villages that surrounded the actual Great Village. This particular sub-village had 300 Siretazi who lived there, while the Great Center had about 3,000. Together, she and her 2 friends swam above the houses and flowed in with the crowd of other Siretasi, all headed toward the great stage. Various neighbors called out to Kovar and her group as they swam along.
Well, hi there, Kovar. I haven't seen you in a while. Too busy and too important to stop by and say hello to your auntie?
I told you, Auntie. I'm helping with the war effort and doing scouting routes. I'll come visit you as soon as I can.
If you say so. You know, your cousin, GGGG, makes time for me.
Well, good for GGGG. Let's swim faster.
Hey, Gadif! We're going hunting later. You coming?
Sure, I'll have to go back home and get my trident, but count me in.
Hey, Baja, I got called in to do another patrol assignment. Can we please switch? I've pulled a double already.
Sure thing, but only if you promise to make me another one of those dolphin fritters. They are so good.
Thank you. You're a lifesaver.
Hey there, Kovar. Your scales look really nice today. So, what do you think this meeting is about? Think the chieftain will have us launch another assault? I can't wait to show off my prowess.
Hi there, Echo. I honestly don't know what this meeting is going to be about, but it will probably be about another attack, which is a bad thing.
You think it's a bad idea? Really? Is it because we lost the last time?
Suddenly, more and more of the Siretasi peered at her, intrigued by the conversation.
Well, yes, it is. And it's not just about the fact that we lost. We're going about this conflict all wrong. If we want to survive as a culture and as our own individual civilization, then we're going to have to do something different.
Like what? You're saying there's a problem, but what's the solution?
Firstly, we have to evaluate and identify who our enemies are. And they aren't just the Ningzima. We have more insidious adversaries right here.
Whoa, what do you mean? Like spies?
No, I mean our leadership. We are constantly being threatened by a larger, more powerful village, and the best thing our chieftain decides is to continuously launch assault after assault against them? The last raid was a month ago, and we all know how that turned out.
It turned out terribly.
That's because it was a poorly planned strategy. It focused on Chief Jotoma leading a single battalion against 2 of theirs. The only reason he was able to escape is because he's a demigod.
Everyone listen! Look, Kovar has some great ideas. Don't you, Kovar? Ideas that could help our village?
No, Baja, stop. I don't like talking in front of people. You know that.
More and more Siretasi, some from other village clusters, had swam up to where she and her friends swam. And that's when Kovar noticed. Hundreds of her people all swam around her, listening intently. Kovar's insides clenched like a fist and she averted her eyes, only to see more Siretasi swimming up to gather in the massive school.
Well, tell us, Kovar, tell us!
Kovar waved her hands frantically as she flapped her tail fin harder.
Okay. Just shut up, all of you.
Well, that was rude.
Auntie, do you want me to speak or not?
Out with it then. We'll be at the great stage before you finally get the nerve to tell us. Her cousin GGGG has no problem speaking.
Anyway, so I was thinking.
The ocean grew silent as hundreds and hundreds of eyes watched her, possibly thousands of Siretasi all swimming around her even. The sunlight glistened off of their scales, and it was almost as if she were in a cave of rainbow. Kovar drew in a deep breath and imagined just that. There were no longer frightened neighbors, children, and adults around her. She was alone, and she was speaking to the universe.
Now, before anyone interrupts me, listen to everything I have to say. I believe the Ningzima are too powerful. They are too many. They are too well equipped, and they lust after our territory. At this moment, I feel our village is too weak to continue to oppose them. If we continue to fight as Chief Jotama wants, we will all become the servants of Nengzima.
She stopped talking for a long moment, and the people waited. The storm inside Kovar thundered harder, and yet she needed to continue. More than that, they needed her to continue.
The way I see it, we have 3 options. Option 1 is to do as Chief Jotama wants and follow him into oblivion. Option 2 is to seek out a strong ally and convince them to help us against the Nengzima. The only problem with that is that the 2 closest villages are weaker than ours. And also, we're on bad terms with them due to the leadership decisions Chief Jotama made. We hoarded prime hunting grounds, mining, and we took advantage of trade relations with them.
Kovar looked around and took brief glances into the eyes of her fellow Siratasi.
The Nengzima have gone around their villages and come for us multiple times. They do not bother our neighbors, which leads me to believe they support the Nengzima conquering us. What's worse, they could decide to attack us as well. We are surrounded on all sides by enemies, all thanks to Chief Jotama.
What about option 3?
Option 3 will possibly be the hardest, but it is the greatest chance of us surviving. We could leave this village and start a new village somewhere else, far from any other hostile villages.
You'd want us to leave and start over? There's no way we could do that!
Agreed!
What makes you think that, huh? We survived for 1,000 years after our ancestors plunged into the ocean. We adapted to living underwater. We built great villages where none had existed. We thrive even though we should have died. Do not doubt yourselves. Do not doubt us. We are strong enough to do this. The real question is, do you all have the will to survive?
The ocean grew silent around her, and it appeared as if everyone's eyes were as wide as they could go.
What kind of world do we wish to build for our future children? Futures choked to death with violence, blood, and fear? Or do we wish to give them the best chance we can? I know option 3 is scary, but we are mighty. We built all of this. Me, you, and you too. All of us. These buildings can be remade, but all of you...
Kovar waved her hands about, gesturing to all of those watching her.
Once lost to the aggressions of a bloodthirsty warmonger, you will be lost to us forever. I want to preserve us. I want us to grow so vast that even the Nengzima will be dwarfed by our glory. But we cannot do that here. Not when we are constantly beset by enemies from without and within.
Kovar stopped, as did the hundreds around her. In the distance, she saw the great village stretched out before her. However, she also noticed how many Siratasi were above the city. Massive crowds were clustered together as the horns blew out once more.
What are those horns for? And what's going on?
Is that the Nengzama forces?
In the distance, there were scores of Siratasi swimming toward them in utter panic. One of them stopped by and screamed out at Kovar and the massive crowd.
Swim for your lives! The Nengzama have invaded us, and the armies of the other 2 nearby villages have come too! They are destroying us! The chieftain is dead! Swim!
Suddenly, immense pressure crushed in on Kovar from all sides. All around her, the dreaded fear of being destroyed or conquered had dominated her neighbors and her fellow tribespeople.
Kovar, what are we gonna do?
We're all going to die.
Kovar swam out in the open, and then she turned to face the crowd. She pulled at her magic as tightly as she could, and she fed it all into her vocal cords.
Everyone, please calm down and listen to me.
The water around her rippled with powerful vibrations, and one by one, each and every Siratasi turned to gaze upon her. They all fell silent.
I know it's scary, but we will thrive. We will overcome this. We need to leave, and we need to do it now. We shall find a new home, and then we will grow stronger than before. I believe in each and every one of us. I know we can get through this together.
There was a brief moment of silence before someone screamed out.
Please lead us, Kovar.
Yeah, please be our new chief.
Please, save us, Kovar the Purple.
No. I am not a leader.
Hundreds of her people cheered and begged with such insistence that Kovar's heart twisted inside her. The obligation was crushing, and yet, what other choice did she have? She was a daughter of Sudaiba. She waved her hands, and the vast crowd grew silent. However, the distant battle and screams of terror could be faintly heard in the expanse of the ocean. There was nothing she could do for them, but Kovar could at least save these Siratazi.
Fine. I will lead you. For now. But it's only until we find someone better for the job, okay? Let's, swim that way. It's in the opposite direction of the Nengzima and the other 2 villages. In order for us to be safe, we're going to have to travel a long way.
Long way? How long is long?
500 miles, at least.
There was a brief silence before someone screamed out.
We're with you, Kovar!
Kovar started swimming away from the great village as swiftly as she could. Behind her, thousands followed.